Well, if talking about sexual abuse wasn't dark enough, how about looking at Canada? Boy, it's been a little while since we've had an opportunity to compile enough stories to really make it worth everybody's while, but yeah, we got three distinct ones, but I guess they all kind of come from Justin Trudeau's cabal of idiots in the Liberal Party of Canada, so it's time to do a little information dump for everyone. So, across the pond, Boris Johnson has said that there wouldn't be any internal vaccine passports. So you can't really control what the rest of the countries are going to require for international travel. And that's fair enough, okay? But then you have Justin Trudeau, who is about a sack of shit. And he's looking for ways to encourage vaccinations, mentions of vaccine passport. He's not even trying to take that off the table. This dude loves rescinding any rights that the Canadian population could possibly think of having. Trust me, if you like freedom, start making your plans to get out of this awful fucking hellscape. Like I've always maintained, I'm a proud Albertan. I love the province. I think it's great. Geographically diverse. The people here are wonderful. Being a Canadian, though, that would also make me accept a vast majority of Ontario and Quebec at large, and I just can't bring myself to ever want to do that. Oh, boy. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said his government was looking at ways to promote and encourage Canadians to get their vaccine, including certificates for international travel. We're not taking off the table. Oh, boy. Oh boy, the idea, typically referred to as vaccine passports, is not an unusual one. Oh, it's unusual, said Trudeau, who pointed out vaccinations for entry into certain countries has been the norm for a number of years. Yes, for actually deadly diseases, or ones that have significant lasting effects, like malaria, hepatitis. This, of course, is true, yes. Travel Docs shows a comprehensive list of which countries require vaccines for entries. Yes, as Trump affectionately referred to them as, the shithole countries. There are countries in the world where you shouldn't go unless you can prove that you've been vaccinated against certain probably diseases, for example, that's been well established. So he looks around. This is straight from the horse's ass. He looks around at these, less than idyllic countries and wants to take all of their stupidest ideas. Okay, vaccine passports to come to a massive country of 50 million people at this point. That is geographically the second largest country in the world. And you're going to start adopting policies from the likes of Cambodia, Sub-Saharan Africa, and apply that because you're a communist shill? What are you doing? Nobody's asking for this. Nobody wants this. Stop it. Get some help. I would understand if this disease was nearly as deadly as everybody thought it was at the beginning, but it isn't. Stop controlling people and stop voting for this asshole, because he's going to call a snap election and there's going to be another 4 years of this fucking idiot because people out east can't figure out that this guy is a total fraud. He hates you just because he has a nice smile and he can deliver a decent teleprompter press conference doesn't make him a good leader. But here I am shouting into the wind on a fucking a weekly basis, it seems, whenever I bring up the Trudeau Liberals. But how about your entertainment? Guess what? They're coming for that too. And they're trying to make it more gay and black. Trudeau Liberals tell Netflix to push Canadian content with LGBTQ2+. Okay, I don't know what the 2 is. I don't care either. And racialized focus. Why? This wasn't a problem before you took office, you fucking moron. All you do is just import bad ideas and you try to make native populations into your little pet project. You're trying to make them like blacks in the United States. This is Trudeau. He takes up those causes and tries to pit different sections of the country against one another in order to obfuscate from all of his terrible decisions that he's put into place. Bill C-16, still trying to push Bill C-19, Bill C-51, which we'll have to talk about at a later date, carbon taxes, the list goes on and on. The guy is terrible. And now, yes, like a true socialist, he's going after the entertainment. Trudeau Liberals are pressuring the CRTC to enforce rules on streaming services such as Netflix and Amazon Prime to distribute Canadian content. All of it sucks. You don't want it. The streaming giants are currently not subjected to Canadian content rules. The revelation comes from the draft instructions of the regulators obtained by the National Post and would be issued once the Broadcasting Act BC 10 passes. Of course it will. The bill summary says it aims to add online undertakings from the transmission or retransmission of programs over the internet as a distinct class of broadcasting undertaking. So they're trying to federalize the internet. How delightful. Which will ensure that online undertakings are required to contribute appropriately to the support for and promotion of Canadian programming and its Canadian creators. I will not be included in that because I distribute a lot of wrong think. Sucks to suck, I guess. The bill also specifies that the new laws, not even rules, would include content from Canadians from racialized communities, quarter native, and Canadians of diverse ethnocultural backgrounds. And policy directions obtained by the Post states that the CRTC would regulate in any way that supports to promote opportunities for programs led by women, the whatever community, racialized and ethnocultural communities, and other equity-seeking groups or communities. Whenever you see the word equity, you know it's a line of shit. Recognizing the challenges faced by these groups in the broadcasting system. No, they're only recognized when you keep bringing them up in every fucking opportunity you have available, you dumb cocksucker. French language programming will also be prioritized as if you couldn't segment it further, because no good French language programming I've ever seen has ever come out of the subsidy programs that get distributed through our state broadcasters like CBC. I think CTV puts out at least a little bit, especially on the Comedy Network, our version of Comedy Central up here in Canada, which is just as unfunny, so don't worry, you're not missing out on literally anything. Nothing good comes out of French province, honestly. Quebec is just a money sink. They're full of cucks, and the Canadians haven't won the Stanley Cup in almost 3 decades, so suck a dick, your province sucks. So yeah, this will get pushed through just like everything else, and then we'll just be inundated through every traditional form of media and even, online streaming services by the diversity, inclusion, and equality practices that have further just destroyed all of the other institutions. So welcome to the club, I suppose. Push out anything good. There are a few good Canadian bands, but they are few and far between. Don't make me laugh. And finally, so something we haven't mentioned yet is the shocking amount of spending that the Trudeau government likes to do. And there's a new initiative out there that's just come out, I think today or yesterday. And yep, they're spending $400 million on infrastructure. The infrastructure minister was out there, and what is she planning to do? Well, spend $400 million on bike paths and trails. Listen, I've run every day for a year, every single day, no days off, and yes, I like the trails that I run. Are they maintained well? Fuck no, don't make me laugh. But at least at the city level, they have been snowplowed relatively well within about 48 hours, so I'm appreciative of that. But at the same time, I could just run on the sidewalks. That would be fine. Bike paths, don't make me laugh, especially in the climate up here in Grand Prairie. We are under snow for 6 to 7 months out of the year. It doesn't make any sense. But this is also the Liberal Party of Canada. Everything west of Manitoba doesn't exist. And that's not including Manitoba. They could give a fuck. That is the border between Manitoba and Ontario. Everything past that is just, farmland. And that's where oil and that's where the money comes from. It's like you're just going to Thunder Bay and just taking out all the money that you possibly can and then just retreating back to Ottawa. And then, of course, making a quick stop over at Quebec and just dropping off the bag there. The fucking money pit. And this is just blatantly stupid. Minister of Infrastructure Catherine McKenna announced on Friday that the Trudeau Liberals will be dedicating $400 million over the next 5 years to building cycling paths and trails. Ugh. The announcement came at the whatever shop in Ottawa, because they don't go anywhere else, where the minister detailed the good jobs the paths will create. Fuck off. While also aligning with Canada's plan to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. It's not possible in so much of your fucking province to put everybody on walking trails and bike paths. Listen, I ran this summer, fuck anything but this winter when it was with the wind chill 50 below. I have the screenshots. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, nor did I see anybody else on that day. That is fine. That's my decision. But don't try to be taking people out of their vehicles, okay? That is fucking stupid. They have the opportunity to express their freedom through driving however they want to. Stop with this insanity. good jobs by building bike paths and fucking walking trails. Have you ever seen a government construction plan? They do a terrible job. It's always well over budget and it's always behind schedule. Private contractors do it better for less in a smaller amount of time. Okay? Award the contracts. That's fine. Just stop making your buddies the ones on the receiving end of these contracts, because they don't do a good fucking job. This is the first federal fund dedicated to building active transportation through Canada. I wonder where these bike paths and trails are actually going to be. Are they just going to be in Ontario? I'd imagine. Powered by people. Fuck off. I would love to see you be able to traverse through the foothills in southern Alberta, or, well, just the vast empty plains of Saskatchewan through a bike trail to get to work every day when it's fucking 25 below for significant portions of the year. Or you have a wind that would knock King Kong's dick stiff for a fucking week and a half. These people are so insulated in Ottawa that they don't understand what's going on. Like, at least in the States, okay? You got Washington, D.C. It's mostly like a metro, like a vast majority of the country, okay? At least on the borders. It's enough like the East Coast and the West Coast and some of the larger cities in Texas that you could at least make a claim that they know what it's like to live in these cities, okay? They're, at least right now in Washington, they're vastly more protected than a lot of the large cities out there. But Ottawa is so transparently different, and Ontario itself is just so different than geographically the rest of everything in this country. It is nothing like out east, which I barely talk about because I barely care about it. Thanks for the fish and the shellfish. That's nice. You can keep your fucking shitty accents. It's nothing like the territories, the three territories, none of it Yukon and Northwest. And to think that it's anything like the prairie countries, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. I'll leave off BC because if it fell off tomorrow, I'd be alright with that. And the smell of pot stench and empty AIDS-ridden heroin needles from Vancouver can sink to the bottom of the ocean for all I care. But they don't get it. They spend money on this stuff that probably seems good in a climate that might experience winter for, I don't know, a week and a half. They try to run this country like it's a small European nation. Trudeau thinks that this is Germany, okay? You could fit like 8 Germanys in Ontario. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand the vastness of this country, the differences that are across the entire nation, and he doesn't care to either. He just wants to rule from Ottawa, make his stupid spending decisions, and try to make the world as he sees fit. All of his communist propaganda that he's been fed to ever since being a little boy, being taught to him by his father, Fidel Castro, seeing the work of his dad, Pierre Trudeau, ruining the West in the late 70s and the early 80s, and then being further indoctrinated in the university system, which he has brought to his cabinet and infected all of federal government. There's nothing left in Canada, okay? I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. Like I've stated on numerous occasions, I think the opposition is controlled opposition at this point. It feels like the post-Bush Republican Party for the Conservative Party right now, okay? It feels eviscerated, emasculated, and dead in the water. Why? I don't know. Because the previous prime minister was a great man with great policies that insulated the country from the housing crash that affected the rest of the world. Canada was doing fine. Things were fucking booming. And then this drama teacher comes in and ruins literally everything at this point. He's infected everything. And like I said, I don't see it turning around anytime soon. So yeah, sorry to be a downer to end the day, I suppose, but that's just how I see it. I don't know. Unless Alberta decides to secede when 2024 rolls around, I think we're going to get fucked in the long term. I don't know. At least for the most part, our premier, outside of the COVID restrictions, which are still going on stupidly, he does a good job protecting the economy. I know that's a big caveat with the lockdown restrictions, but he tries to do a good job. And I don't want to be taken for a ride the next time that the election shows up, at least at the provincial level, and have another experimentation with the NDP, because that could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. With that said, guys, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.